so we'll do Vanderpump Rules. This is another hot trash dumpster fire, okay? This one might be a little quick because this is crazy. Now, everything going on, I'm just going to go down the line and talk about each character. So, Katie. As we know, Katie hooks up with Max. Max is one of Tom Schwartz's best friends. He was on season 8 or 9 of Vanderpump Rules when Vanderpump Rules clearly should just have been canceled around then, when they brought in like Max and Charlie and Dana, all these weird people. That's when everybody got fired. When Brittany and Jax got fired and Stassi and Kristen got fired. They brought in all these people, and Max was supposedly like one of the managers at Tom Tom. Max also slept with Sheena. So they weren't officially dating. Maybe in Sheena's head they were dating, but they were definitely sleeping together and had all of that stuff. Now, the reason why I think Katie slept with Max is twofold. One, because that was right after she found out that Tom Schwartz and Sheena had kissed in Vegas like 7 years ago. And they're like, it was so long ago, get over it. No, I'm with Katie on this one. I would be petty forever because how much Katie has been gaslit is insane. Like the entire world was shook when Tom Sandoval cheated on Ariana. They weren't even married. People were literally cheering when Tom Schwartz would cheat on Katie. Literally cheering when Tom Schwartz was kissing Raquel in Katie's face in Mexico. So Katie has been gaslit for years on years on years on years because Katie does not have a stereotypical, palpable, likable female personality. She's heavy in her masculine. She can be abrasive. She's an acquired taste, and there has been a lot of maligning of Katie. I personally like Katie. I do. I like her. I see through a lot of all of the other stuff. And I think inside is a very sweet, soft person who's been through a lot of hurt and hasn't had a lot of support from people, And so I think that really triggered her, where she's like, well, wait a minute. I've never really trusted Sheena, but Sheena's always acted like I've been some horrible person to her. Schwartz has been cheating on me for our entire relationship. Side note, if somebody's cheating on you your entire relationship, at some point, it's your fault. And what I mean by that is get out. Nobody is worth your dignity. Nobody is worth your respect. Just like Brittany and Jax, there isn't any, well, what am I looking for? There isn't any glory in self-sacrifice. It's really not. So if you're in a relationship for 12 years with a man who habitually cheats on you, who habitually disrespects you, who throws drinks on you, who chooses his friends over you, who chooses everybody over you, get out. This is a PSA to everybody. Get out. I don't care how much you think you love this person. Choose to love yourself just a little bit more. If all you have is an ounce of more love of yourself, use that to get out of it. Because it's not worth it. These people are now divorced and he is still making her look like a clown. He didn't have to tell everybody about this stupid kiss he had with Sheena in Vegas. It's still another way of him to say F you, Katie. He didn't have to do that. Nobody knew that they had some random kiss in Vegas. Now the question is, do we think it was just a kiss? I personally don't. I don't think people are in Vegas of age or even under, well, we're not going there, of age, just getting wasted and kissing. I don't buy it. The same way I never thought Ariana and Tom only kissed. That's not even cheating in your 20s. Do you know what I mean? Oh, you kiss somebody. Okay. Like, who cares? You know what I'm saying? No. I think this whole we just kissed, I don't buy that. If you just kissed, you wouldn't even bring it up. They all just kiss all the time. You know what I mean? So I feel bad for Katie. I think she was triggered by all of that. So don't forget that Max is Tom Schwartz's best friend, but also Sheena's ex. So when she slept with him after finding out, it was not just an FU to Tom Schwartz, it was also an FU to Sheena. So go, I'm Team Katie with that. Go, girl, you get it in. Now, where I think I lie with Katie when it comes to her allegiance with Ariana, I think she's aligned with her for a couple of reasons. One, something about her, the sandwich shop that to never be. I hope it opens. I hope it gets, everything works out. What I think is really going on, I think that behind the scenes, I think they might be in a legal battle with that woman. What was her name? Penny or something like that? Allegedly, Penny went behind their back and she trademarked something about her. So I think that Ariana and Katie maybe created the LLC, but I think that she trademarked it. Something fishy in it going on. And I think that there might be some type of lawsuit or litigation or talks or something going on behind the scenes with something about her that they're not being honest about, because they keep saying, oh, permits. And I'm like, stop it. Like, you could have been open by now. I also think that Ariana got too big for the britches and was just like, I'm booked and I'm busy. I'm going to go be the host for Love Island. I'm on Dancing with the Stars. I'm making all this money. I'm going to go buy a $1.6 million house. Like, I don't need the sandwich shop. I think Ariana's like, I don't need this sandwich shop. I'm in Broadway. I got my boyfriend. Like, I'm going to go decorate my $1.6 million house. I don't need the sandwich shop now. Ariana better be thanking her lucky stars for Sandoval. To be honest with you, if I was Ariana, I wouldn't have it in my heart to even pretend to be bitter anymore. If a guy that I was with, we weren't having sex, we weren't happy, we were basically glorified roommates. I'm not saying this to negate what he did, because what he did was still wrong. But then if he cheats on me, and then all of a sudden the entire world loves me, I get movies on Lifetime, I get to be on Broadway, I get to buy a $1.6 million house, I get to date a really hot new guy, I get to be the host on Love Island USA, I get to write books, I get to be on, morning shows and TV shows. I wouldn't have the capacity in my heart for any type of anger or bitterness. I would just be overwhelmed with like joy and gratitude. I would probably be so cool with Tom. Is that weird? But like, I feel like I would be like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for cheating on me. My life is astronomical and amazing now. And thank you. Like, I kind of feel like I would like buy him a beer. I would be like, let me take you out. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like in my heart and in my soul, I would be like, I couldn't have any bitterness toward him, because look at all of these blessings I now have. So I guess that's just me, or I don't know how you guys would feel, but like, if I'm Ariana, I'm not really harboring any ill will anymore. If anything, it's like, let me buy you a beer, dude, because you just totally blew up my life in the most beautiful, glorious way ever. Because I don't think anybody is pretending that if Sandoval had not happened, that Ariana would not be where she is today. That is just the truth. That is just the truth, Anyway, back to Katie. So I think that Katie is aligned with her also because of her own issues she's had with Tom Sandoval. It's like she gets a reason, an outlet that people understand to be so hateful towards him. I mean, I understand it. If there was a guy like Tom Sandoval in my life, number one, he wouldn't be, because I wouldn't tolerate that in my life. But she did. I would hate him too. Not like hate, you know what I mean? Because of how he treated her. Systematically poisoned everybody against her. So I don't know. This is what I say to you, Katie. Figure out what's going on with something about her. If it's not working, cut bait and then keep doing you. Find your happiness. Do what you have to do and also cut bait from Tom Schwartz. There's going to be an upcoming storyline where, and this is where it's like, I can't watch this crap anymore, where Katie and Tom are supposed to be hooking up with the same girl. And she's like, let the best man win. It's like, stop. I know that she's like heavily trying to put herself in her match. She's like, I'm in my masculine. I was a man in a past life. Stop it, Katie. Stop. I don't think that she's miraculous. I don't know. It's giving Morgan Wade, Kyle Richards vibes where it's just like, let's just create some nonsense for storylines. Because Katie and Tom Schwartz hooking up with the same waitress at Pump or Sir or wherever it is, it's just a bunch of nonsense. Anyway, Tom Schwartz's new girlfriend is cute. I think she's like 20 something. She's like a little TikToker. She's cute. I forgot what her name is. They were doing their little TikToks and stuff. She's a cutie. She's cute. I hope she has a good personality, but she's a cute girl. Anyway, that's kind of where I stand with her. So Ariana, we kind of touched on her. Now, new topic for Ariana. So her brother, Jeremy, he's now coming out the cuts. He is estranged from her now. He said it's because that Ariana gave his now fiance, I think her name is Rachel or something like that, gave her microaggressions. Basically, he was saying that like Ariana was disrespecting his girlfriend, who is now his fiance. And so he had to take a step away from her. He's like, I miss my sister. I want to talk to her, but like I had to like take a break. But to me, this is all very performative. I don't know, again, is this just made up to give Ariana a storyline for the next season? If they get a next season, if she's coming back, maybe she thinks she's too big for the show. I don't know. But it just seems really weird and bizarre that her brother went to the opening of the Jax's sports bar and he was there and he was hugging Sandoval and he's like, I miss my sister. If I ever talk to her, I haven't talked to her in months. And he proposed to his girlfriend at Jax's sports bar, and like Schwartz was there and Tom Sandoval was there. Like, why are you proposing to this woman with these other people? Like, that's a thing I don't get. So I don't know if this is just Ariana needs a new storyline. The brother wants to come back to the show. I don't know what's going on. Maybe they need some new brand deals. He wants his 15 minutes of fame. I don't know if I believe this. Like, I don't know what to believe, because why would the brother all of a sudden be like proposing to her at Jax's sports bar? Now, I know that he stayed with Tom Sandoval and Ariana for free when he first came to LA to get on his feet and everything, which is fine. But like, when it comes to this situation, my allegiance is to my sister. It's not to her ex. I don't care if you let me stay in the house. You let me stay in the house because you're with my sister and I'm, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm family. So the fact that he is like, why was he even invited to Jax's opening? I don't know. It's giving very contrived. It's giving very creepy and weird. It's giving very toxic. It's reminding me of Meghan Markle's family for some reason, where it's like the siblings want to come out and like get their 15 minutes of fame and like malign someone as much as they can. Because I will tell you this, the family cuts both ways. Sometimes it can cut where it's like someone in the family becomes famous or they get some money, and then family members come out the woodwork trying to malign them for their 15 minutes, and it's totally justified. Then sometimes people get famous, a little bit of money, and the family comes out to malign them, and it's totally true. Either way, I don't think it's justified. Like, if your family member gets rich and famous and you don't like that family member, be quiet about it. Unless it's like atrocious, you know what I mean? Unless it's like abuse or something, and you're like, no, this person's a bad person who needs to go to jail. That's fine. But if it's just like family beef, that family beef should stay in the family. If it's just like family beef, and that's what it seems like with Jeremy and Ariana, like that's just a little bit of family beef. That's kitchen. Shout out to Wendy Williams. That's kitchen table talk. You know, like what goes on in your household sometimes needs to stay in your household. He's been quoted in like People magazine. He did a whole exclusive with like Us Weekly talking about it. And that's why I'm really side-eyeing Jeremy, where I'm like, why are you giving an exclusive to Us Weekly talking about I miss my sister and blah, blah, blah. Well, then pick up the phone. The only reason why the little brothers and the sisters and the aunties and the uncles and the mommies and the papas come out is because they want money. They want their 15 minutes of fame. So I'm not an Ariana fan, but when it comes to this, I'm on her side. If you don't rock with your family, don't rock with them, but you don't go against them in this way for something this petty. You know? And as much as Ariana talks about she needs blind loyalty from people, her brother should be the first person because that's actually her blood. Like, leave little Sheena Shea alone. You know, let Sheena live. You know, but it should be your brother. So who knows what the hell is going on there with her. But I have Ariana fatigue. I do. I'm happy for her. No shade. Like, I want her to get every opportunity she can get, but that still doesn't mean that I'm not fatigued by her. You know, two things can be true. I can be just tired of it without hating on it, because I'm not hating on it. I do want her to love her new $1.6 million house. I want her to kill it on Love Island. I want all the opportunities that is for her to shine. I'm just personally fatigued on it, if that makes sense. So there's no shade there. There's no hate. I want her to get all her coins and bags. I'm just a little over it, if that makes sense. Now, Tom Sandoval. Ugh. Tom Sandoval is like, at this point, it's pathetic on a different level. By pathetic, I don't mean the like Scandival thing. I mean, it's pathetic. It's sad is what it is. Because like looking at him now, you just really see how insecure and weird and narcissistic and hollow he is. And I don't mean that in a malicious way. I mean it in a way where it's kind of just sad looking at him now, you know? He's like trying to hang on, like having like Billy Lee and like all those weird people at the parties. And like he keeps talking about like, that's my roommate. It's my ex. We weren't together for a long time, but like for like 10 years. Yeah, it's weird. And like the alleged drug use and like talking about Rachel. It's just, the whole thing is just really sad. And even Schwartz is just like, ugh, dude. You know what I mean? Like, it's just sad. Like, I don't even want to harp too much on Tom because he just seems really sad. And I get Wade was messed up. I get he's done a lot of weird things in the past. But there comes a point where it's just like, this person is just sad. So I'm just going to leave him there. Just really weird. Him and his new alleged girlfriend, which is, in my opinion, 100% a PR fake relationship. She's the model that's been linked to like Leonardo DiCaprio. They just happen to have, you know, Backgrid. Backgrid is the paparazzi company that people call on themselves. So, you know, when it's like, oh no, we were just at dinner. How did you find us? Or we were just shopping at Erewhon. How did you find us? We were just getting a Starbucks. How did you find us? Because you called them. You know, Kyle is in Aspen. How did you find us? Because you called us, Kyle. You know, it's because you called them. So 99% of the time, paparazzi photos are staged. They're staged to look like, oh my God, stars are just like us. Caught, blah, blah, blah. They're staged. They're either the person called them directly or they're publicisted to set everything up, you know? So it's like, oh, this person spotted in Utah. Paparazzi don't live in Utah. You flew them out. Sometimes the stars will pay the paparazzi, or sometimes they will make sure that they get certain types of photos of them that will sell for more money. Stars do this all the time. By stars, I mean influencers, actors, athletes, musicians, reality stars, anybody you see in Us Weekly, Radar, Page Six, Duma, the blogs, all of that stuff. 99% of the time, the paparazzi were called and it was all staged. A lot of that stuff is staged. That's how a lot of people like debut their relationships. Like, ooh, blah, Brad Pitt and blah, 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 spotted at the beach. It's like, yeah, spotted at the beach because their publicist called you and paid you to show up and take pictures of them. So then it could be leaked to Us Weekly. Come on, you know? So he's kind of doing that. It's kind of weird and sick. Now, Lisa. Has anybody watched, what is it, Vanderpump Villa? I need to watch it. I think it just came out on Hulu today. So I haven't watched it yet, but I'm going to watch it. I hope it's good. I love LVP. No notes for her. You can tell that she is, actually my only note for her is, I agree with what Lala said about the conversation she had with Lala and Sheena about Tom Sandoval's mental health. I do understand where LVP was coming from by like, because Tom Sandoval, I don't know, there's something sad and just, you never know. You never know. And when the whole world is coming at you, that could be really hard. I still think he has his narcissism and all the other stuff. So I'm not giving him a pass for that, but we're all humans and we all have our own flaws and our own illnesses and our own dispositions and our own mistakes. So at the end of the day, I can empathize with any human being. We all have fallen short to greater or lesser degrees. So there's that. But I do agree with that. Lisa Vanderpump should not put the pressure or the onus on Lala and Sheena to mind Tom Sandoval's mental health. But where I think she was correct is that they all should be mindful of his mental health. So the difference in that is, by mind, it's like it's not their responsibility to look after his mental health. It's his responsibility to look after his mental health. It's his responsibility to get help, to take a step back, to do what he needs to do to get well. But it is the people in your life's responsibility to be mindful, conscious of, thoughtful of somebody's mental state. So if you know somebody is in a frail state, you should be mindful of that. The way you speak to them, the way you reach out to them, the way you handle them, you should be mindful of the mental state that they are in. But you don't mind it, because that, to mind is like when someone says mind your own business, that's what mind is. The responsibility of. You're not responsible for somebody's mental health, but you are responsible to be mindful of the way in which you treat someone who is going through a mental health crisis. So I agree with what Lisa Vanderpump said, to be mindful of what he's going through. But I also agree with Lala saying that then get him professional help. Make sure he's talking to professionals and make sure it's clear that it's not their responsibility. Because, God forbid something did happen to him. Knock on wood, I'm not speaking that. You would never want to feel like, well, it's my fault. I didn't do enough, So it's not their responsibility to mind his mental health, but it is their responsibility to be mindful of his mental state. So that's kind of where I land on that. But I also think I also thought it was very beautiful for Lisa Vanderpump to be vocal and honest about how she lost her own brother to his, mental illness. He ultimately succumbed to it, unfortunately, whether he meant to do it or whether it was a cry for help that went too far. Either way, it was by his own hand, and how gut-wrenching and awful and chilling that is. So it was good to see her open up and share and all of that stuff, because when you're so close to something like that, it can change how you approach people. And I don't know. Is this an unpopular opinion or is this a popular opinion? Let me know. I'm kind of over crucifying Tom Sandoval for this. I get he messed up. I get he's a weirdo, but enough is enough with like the hate of it all. Like I'm kind of over that. But I don't know what you guys think. Let me know. Okay. James Kennedy. I like James Kennedy. He's fun, but I could do without him and Allie. I think James is really fun, but I think James should just go and be a DJ and go be a TikTok star. I've said this before, I'll say it again. I think James shines because he's really funny and he has really good one-liners. But I mean this for everybody on the show. I think everybody has outgrown the show. Right now, the show, it's very staged. It's very awkward. It's very forced. It's very stale. They're talking about things that happened a year ago that nobody cares about anymore. And they're all just focused on, like Lala said, rebranding and building. And it's just like, okay, but like this isn't the show for it. I feel like the show no longer makes sense. The premise of the show no longer makes sense with the lives of the people that we're watching. They've outgrown the show. It's a wrap for me. I think this should be the last season. Let it go. James, I think, would be great on TikTok. He's funny. He has one-liners. He's into music. He should just go be a DJ, live his best life. When it comes to Allie, I feel so vindicated because I said, to me, Allie is an opportunist. I think the only reason why she's dating James is because she wanted to be on the show to launch her music career. And what is she doing right now? She's on TikTok. Like I said, James should be. He probably is on TikTok. I just don't follow him. Singing her songs at her little, Taylor Swift world. And she's doing music videos with Sheena and other people. And I'm like, see, because it just, you know what it is? To me, Allie and Raquel, same person, same energy, except for I think that Allie is more sane than Raquel is. Because I do think that there is a true tick, a ticky boom, something off, something like all the lights in the house aren't on. Like something's not, like the lights are on, but no one's home, whatever the saying is when it comes to Raquel, or Rachel rather. But I think that Rachel and Allie are same energy. They both sought out James specifically to get with him and to get on the show. They both then pretty much admitted it. Raquel said that her dad dropped her off. I think with Allie, it was like her mom or something, to meet him specifically. Anytime, and Sheena, I'm talking to you too, Sheena. Anytime a fan purposely seeks you out, that is a relationship you probably should not get into. Have a one-nighter, hit it and quit it. I'm here for a good time, not a long time. But to get into a serious relationship with a fan who purposely has an agenda to seek you out, the way Brock did with Sheena when he slid into her DMs, they now lie and say they met at a festival, but that's what happens with the truth. You have to remember it. I remember they said that he slid into her DMs, but then all of a sudden they met at a festival. That's like when people lie who met on Bumble and they're like, no, we met in a coffee shop. Stop lying. You met in Bumble. Who cares? Just tell the truth. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, if I were famous, when I'm famous, manifested, I would be very weary, or anybody out there, famous or not, anybody who is a fan and their agenda is to seek you out, watch out. Watch out. Watch out. Ugh. So that's kind of where I stand with them. Allie, I'm not into astrology and crystals and moonbeams and charts and all that stuff. I don't mess around with that stuff. So good luck to her with that. But the whole like singing and everything, I think she's doing what she set out to do. I think she wanted to be famous, and I think she thought the best way to do it. And to be honest, it's what James did to Kristen and to Tom Sandoval. James was a fan of the show. He sought out Kristen and Tom. Maybe he hooked up with both of them. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not saying it happened, but I'm saying I wouldn't be surprised if it was the truth, because he sought them both out. And how mad Tom got, you're sleeping with her in my bed with my condoms. Blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't know. It was just weird to me. I don't know. Maybe they were having a little three. I don't know. But James did the same thing. He admitted it. He's like, yeah, I wanted to be on the show and I sought them out. James did the same exact thing. So maybe it's just, turnabout's fair play and karma's foul play. He sought out Tom and Kristen, befriended Tom, slept with Kristen to get on the show. I don't think it's any different than what Rachel did or what Allie did. Getting dropped off at his gigs to meet him. To me, it's scary. It wouldn't be me. I'm rich and famous. You're sliding into my DMs. No, thank you, boo-boo. We got to meet at like a CEO conference or something. I don't know. We got to meet at somebody's dinner. I don't know. But I don't know. It's weird. It's weird to me. It's weird. It's weird. Okay. Lala. I think Lala, I think she's going to join the Valley next season. That's what I think is going to happen. If the Valley gets a next season, I think that she's going to join that. She just bought like a $3.1 million home in that area. Where she's getting this money from, I don't know. Where do you think you get the money to buy a $3.1 million home when she already owns a home in Palm Springs? So this would be her second home that she owns. Is Lala Beauty, give them Lala, send them to Daryl t-shirts doing it? Is it the Bravo check that's doing it? Is it her podcast check that's doing it? Who knows? Did Randall find some of his fraudulent money? Is that doing it? Does she have a rich benefactor? Is that doing it? I don't know. I'm not checking anybody's pockets, but I don't know. Maybe. But when it comes to Lala, I think she has a lot of valid points for the way that she's been treated versus the way Ariana or some of the other ladies have been treated when they were cheated on, when they have also been the other woman and all of that stuff. But there's a little bit of like a bitterness to her, where I know now in the show, she's like, I don't want to be bitter. I want to be soft. But like how dismissive she was of Katie because Katie had hooked up with Max. She's like, well, that's like Tom's like best friend. Like this is so weird. I got to go. Like, Lala, shut up. Get off the high horse, sweetheart. Get off the high horse. I love that Katie had sex with Max. Let Katie have some fun. Let Katie have some revenge. Because whether or not you like Katie or not, Katie has literally been so dogged out this entire show. You don't have to like her personality, but you have to be honest with how much Katie has been dogged out. Her whole husband cheated on her and nobody cared. Nobody cared. She's been dogged out this entire show. Let Katie have something. Let Katie have one night of fun, one night of revenge when she just found out that her ex-husband and Sheena made out, quote, made out. And we all know that's code for had sex. Nobody's just kissing in Vegas. Not this group. Come on now. Let Katie live. And Lala getting an attitude. Oh, there's nobody's honest. Nobody's transparent. This is just so weird. Oh, Katie, that's like, shut up, Lala. Please. Last season, you were busting it wide open for some random dude you met in the desert on the girls' weekend. Talking about, I left the whole, mattress wet, something nasty and gross. Who cares? So you're busting it open for random men you meet out which I'm not judging. You do you. You live your life. Trust me, that is not a judgment. This is a judgment-free zone. And that's my point. You're busting it open for men, and you have the audacity to judge Katie because she had one night of fun and one night of like a little bit of get back on people who have systematically dogged her the hell out. Shut up, Lala. And I usually really like you and I usually really agree with you. But to me, it's like nobody can be on a high self-righteous horse at this point. Nobody can be on a high self-righteous horse. They really can't. You would think Lala, of all people, would be like, you know what? Good for you, Katie. Good for you for taking back your power a little bit. At the end of the day, Tom Schwartz doesn't really care. He cares more about the fact Tom Schwartz cares more that Max betrayed him than he does that Katie did. Let's be honest. And Sheena needs to mind her own household, which is crumbling and falling apart. So she needs to worry about that. I don't think she's going to care about anything. Shut up, Lala. Let Katie live, like all judgy. And that's the thing. It's like Lala's whole narrative has been, why can't I get any grace? Why can't I get any grace? Nobody gives me grace. But the moment you had the opportunity to show grace, you scoffed and you judged and you acted better than. So what you have been begging people for this entire season is the one thing you don't want to give? No, Katie gets all the grace. Katie gets all the grace from me. I know sometimes her personality can be a little prickly. I think that's more a defense mechanism because she's been hurt so much. Katie gets all the grace. Let her live. Let her have some fun. Let her get a little get back. Let her feel a little bit better, a little bit. So with me, Lala missed me with that. However, Mazel, congratulations on your baby. As we know, she's now currently pregnant. That's super exciting. And I think that's the way to do it this day and age. It's 2024. If you have the resources and the money and the means and the support to have a child theoretically on your own without a partner, then do it. It's better than what Kristen is doing on the Valley, allegedly, just trying to get knocked up by some guy she's in a situationship with just to have a baby. No, because you got to think about that child. Because the person that you choose to have a baby with, whether or not you choose to mess with that person, will fundamentally and definitively, and sometimes irrevocably, that's a word, irrevocably, irrevocable, whatever, you know what I mean, will have significant consequences on your child's life. And that's what people really need to think about. It's not the idea of having a child. It's the reality of having a child. And it's one thing to say to your child, you know what, baby, I loved you. I wanted a baby so much. I had so much love. This is what mommy did so I could have you. Versus your dad lives in Utah and we're fighting and we don't see him and he's this and he's that. Maybe he's going to want to come and get visitation rights. Maybe he's not going to want to get visitations right. Maybe it's, you know what I mean? It's very messy. It's very messy. And as we all know, whether your parent is present in your life or not present in your life affects you as a child. Whether it's an absent father, whether it's a present father, whether it's an absent mother, whether it's a present mother, that affects a child and how they watch their parents interact. That's psychology literally 101. I don't think anybody can really dispute that. We all know parents influence their children. If not, then all the therapists in the world would be out of a job. So I do congratulate her on that, of saying, I'm at a place in my life. I have the money, I have the means, I have the support. And by support, I mean, you have family or friends or a tribe of people to help you raise the child, because it doesn't always have to be the father who supports or the mother who supports. It could be, your family that supports or your friends. By support, I just mean a community of people who will be there to help you raise the child. That's what I mean by support. And she's buying a $3.1 million house. I hope she has the coin. You know what I'm saying? So I'm happy for her to do that. And I think that it's great for people, whether you are a woman or a man or gay or straight or whatever the case is, and you want to be a loving, healthy parent and you're bringing a child into a safe and stable environment. However, you need to do that. I think that's okay. Whether it's surrogacy, whether it's IVF, whether it's adoption, whether it's sperm, no matter what the case is, as long as you yourself are in a healthy, stable place to bring a child in the world, however you do it, that's cool. I'm fine with that. So congratulations, Lala. Good to you. But girl. Tom Schwartz, I don't really have much to say about him. He just looks like wet fish to me. Like he looks like he smells like mildew. I mean, it's late. I'm on one. But he just looks like he smells. Am I the only one who gets that from him? I don't know. Tom Schwartz, I'm tired of him. I'm tired of Joe. Like, stop trying to make Joe happen. And the fact that they're trying to make Joe happen via Allie, it's giving so desperate. Like, Allie, have a personality. Have an opinion. Pick a side. Have your own mind and brain. I don't like Joe, but I want her to feel like she is welcomed in the group. Well, if you don't like her, why do you want her to be welcome in the group? Oh, did the producers tell you that so you could continue to get time on screen? And why are they trying to make Joe happen? She's what? It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Tom Schwartz, I'm tired of you. Tired. Now, Sheena. The only thing I'm going to say to Sheena is, I hope your prenup is ironclad, very smart to get your house only in your name. And Sheena, I need you to tell us the truth about you and Brock. Like, I want Sheena to do a documentary tell-all about the truth about her and her marriage, because something isn't right. I don't believe that her OCD and anxiety is just about Sandoval. I think something has happened with Brock in her house that makes her so anxious with the child, with everything. She literally said she didn't want a nanny because she didn't want the nanny to hear her and Brock fighting. That's scary. You don't want to hire a nanny because of how horrible the fights are with your husband that you don't want them to hear? Also scary is how disrespectful Brock was to her at the shop. Because the way somebody treats you in public is usually 10 times better than how they treat you in private. So he was that disrespectful to her publicly. Imagine how he treats her privately. And I don't think Brock has gotten any type of help. I'm not saying he has, but any man who has the capability of hitting a woman once, he has the capability of hitting a woman twice. And we already know he did. He got a restraining order. It's on record. This isn't me making anything up. This is on record. Out of his own mouth, he admitted that he got physical with his baby mama. I'm not saying that people aren't rehabilitated, but someone who hasn't gotten professional help, someone who is still not taking accountability, someone who is still very aggressive verbally. Maybe Sheena shakes like a leaf because she doesn't want to get popped when she gets home. I don't know. I'm not saying he is. I want to make that very clear because I know Brock is always looking for a buck. Don't come over here trying to sue me for defamation. I'm not defaming you. I'm just talking out loud about options. I'm not saying this is happening, okay? But it looks very toxic. And for her to say on camera, I don't want to bring a nanny in because I don't want somebody to see how we fight. What do you think that means? And this came out of her own mouth. I don't know what episode, but it was this season. And it might have been the episode when they were fighting at the shop. She said, I want to bring a nanny because I don't want anybody to see how we fight. That's very scary. Very scary. Sheena girl. There's also the rumor that Brock is sliding into the DMs of some Australian influencer. Wait, you lose him how you got him? He slid into her DMs. I don't know. All I am saying is this. Brock seems like an opportunist from day one. To me, he looked at Sheena as a cash cow and as his ticket to fame. And so far, that's exactly what she's been, his ticket to fame and his cash cow. And this is another thing. Did you guys catch how Sandoval had to send Sheena thousands and thousands of dollars? I don't know if they ever said a specific amount, but they said thousands of dollars during the pandemic when she was pregnant and not making any money. How did they glean over the entire fact that she had a whole ass man, Brock, baby daddy? Were they married then? Were they married before or after they had the kid? I don't remember. Before, maybe? I don't know. Either way, either a whole ass fiance, baby daddy, husband, whatever the hell he is, in the home. And what was Brock doing? Now, this is the thing. When I say that this is a judgment-free zone, I'm not judging anybody for being on hard times. Whether you are in a marriage or not, you're in a relationship or not, I'm not judging anybody for being on hard times. At some point in life, everybody struggles a little bit, especially during the pandemic. So I'm not judging Sheena and Brock for falling on hard times at all. I don't want that karma coming back to me. No, thank you. I'm not judging that. But I do question, what was Brock doing that Sheena was so stressed out because she had no money? He couldn't work. He couldn't find something to do. He couldn't Uber Eats, or he couldn't do Uber or DoorDash, or I don't know, something, figure it out the way everybody else in the world figures it out when they need some money. I don't know. I don't know. And the reason why I question that is because he comes over to the States, DMs her or whatever to be with her. And then all of a sudden she's investing thousands of dollars into his app that was a bust. Nothing happened with the app. That was a big bust. She probably lost that money. Then he was doing some other stuff. I don't think that other stuff worked out. Then she was saying that he was pitching TV shows. She's like, oh, I think he sold one this week. Well, that would be great. But the only reason why he's getting into those doors, which are very hard to get into, is because of Sheena. So he wants to do this sports app with her money. He wants to do sell these TV shows with her connections. But yet it's the pandemic and she's pregnant with his child, but Tom Sandoval is the one who has to buy them food. I'm really confused how nobody said what was Brock doing. You know what I mean? It's just creepy. It's giving grifter. It's giving the long con. Brock to me is like Todd Tucker. Brock to me, and then all of a sudden Brock's friend, O'Sheen, the guy who grabbed somebody at Sheena's wedding, is now on Southern Hospitality, another Bravo show. So now he's getting his friends cast on other Bravo shows. And the guy O'Sheen on Southern Hospitality, he's a hot mess. He's always drunk. He's always creating weird content for his fans only account. He's also very, very misogynistic and disrespectful to women, cussing women out on the show. He was cussing these two girls out so much that the other guys had to step in and say, dude, you need to calm down. You need to really check yourself. There is nothing more disgusting than a man trying to cuss out a woman. It's the most disgusting, weird, pathetic, gross thing ever. You ever see a man trying to cuss out a woman? That is so disgusting. But O'Sheen was wasted was cussing out these two women. Mia and the other girl cussing him out. And the other guys were like, dude, you need to stop. Because that's what an actual alpha man is. An actual alpha male in reality and in biology, the actual role of an alpha man is not to check women. The role of the alpha male is to check other men, to keep the other men in line. So the actual alpha men of the group, not O'Sheen, because that's not being an alpha man cussing out a woman. That's not alpha. That is women hating. That's toxic. That's unhealthy. That's insecure. But the alpha men did their jobs and they checked him and they protected the women. That's what a real alpha man do. They don't hurt women. They don't check women. They don't cuss women out. They protect a woman. That's a real alpha man. A real alpha man is a provider and a protector of women, and he checks and keeps in line other men. That's a true alpha male. So the fact when I realized or found out that O'Sheen, shout out to Natasha, I think she was the one who told me that O'Sheen and Brock were friends, it all made sense. Because they're both very, you know how there's BDE? They have LDE. Figure it out, guys. Where it's a lot of huffing and puffing and yelling and cussing women and being really mean to women. Think about how Sandoval or how Tom Sandoval treats Katie and treats Lala and treated Stassi. Think about how Brock treats Sheena. Very, very disgusting. Very, very disgusting. That's right, Lucy. Yup. And like Jax too. Very disgusting. So that's kind of where I land on these guys. I'm going to keep watching, honestly, at this point, just out of like, not curiosity, not even curiosity, but I guess just out of like nostalgia, or I don't know what the word is, obligation, I don't know. But I hope this is the last season. I'm going to try to keep watching. I might check out of it, but that's kind of where I stand. I think the Vanderpump Rules series should be a wrap. Like, this is it, guys. There's nowhere else to go that makes any sense. It just needs to kind of bow out gracefully. It's already outstayed its welcome. You know what I mean? But I'm going to keep watching because I do feel, exactly, Lucy, I feel like obligated. I feel like obligated to watch. So I'm going to keep watching. Hopefully it gets better, but let's just let this be the swan song. All right. So with that, you guys, stay tuned because I'm going to do Real Housewives of Potomac, but be sure to like, subscribe, and share. So with that, I'm going to take a quick drink. I'm going to pop a cough drop. So if I'm sucking on a cough drop, I hope it doesn't annoy you. But I've been talking for an hour and a half. Okay.